In this video, I'm ranking every single Call of Duty Zombies map from easiest difficulty to hardest. The only criteria set up for this video is how easy it is to reach round 30 or how difficult it is on each map. With that being said, let's just jump right into this. Now, it's no secret that Cold War is by far the easiest Zombies game, and on top of all its other maps, I think Die Machine takes the cake for the easiest. The map has an abundance of space to train, powerful wonder weapons from the Shockwave to the ray gun, as well as the Cold War mechanics like kill streaks. All of this together really just makes the map super easy. Coming into the 34th place, Firebase Z falls in a similar position as Die Machine, only being slightly more difficult due to the boss fights that come every few rounds. Now, Forsaken is once again only slightly more challenging than the previous two maps due to its awkward and often tight map layout. Now, finishing off the Cold War maps, Mauer der Toten is the most difficult of the four maps on Cold War. Coming in at the 31st place, I think Revelations has to take it due to its large map design and overpowered perma-perks. Also, I forgot to mention, it has literally the two most overpowered wonder weapons we've ever seen in Zombies on one map. Now, when you think of easy Zombies maps, Ascension surely is somewhere in your mind. The map was on Black Ops 1, which is a little bit more difficult of a game, but it is one of the most wide open maps we've ever seen. So if you want a casual game of Zombies, Ascension is pretty much the go-to. Now, Tag der Toten, I have to say, is the easiest map on Black Ops 4 due to the different strategies you can use for spawns and abusing the spawns on the Black Ops 4. Also, the Black Ops 4 systems like the perks and the overpowered specialist weapons make the game really easy. Now, Dreisendracht is another very casual map that most people enjoy playing. It's really easy due to the huge pool of camping spots and overpowered wonder weapons in all the bows. I would have to say that Dead of the Night takes the number 27th place, just being a little bit more difficult than Dreisendracht is. Now, Buried is another one of those maps that comes to mind when you think of a casual Zombies experience. The map honestly has a really tight design with not too many open areas to train, so you'd kind of think it's difficult, but this is very far from the case. The map is super easy because of the overpowered features it includes, like the traps or the paralyzer wonder weapon that literally lets you fly away from the zombies. Now, the 25th most difficult Zombies map has to go to the iconic Kino der Toten. It's not necessarily super easy, but it has a decent amount of training space, an overpowered wonder weapon, and super predictable zombie spawns. Now, this is probably going to be a bit of a controversial pick, but I have to say number 24 goes to Origins. Now, the early game at Origins can be a little difficult due to things like the premature Panzer spawns and the Templar zombies that take your pack-a-punch. Outside of these though, the map is pretty simple. You can just build the ice staff and sit in one place for the first 70 rounds of your game. Now, Shadows of Evil, I wasn't too sure where to rank this one, but I think I got a good place for it. The map can be very difficult for any new players, but to others, it quickly becomes easy once you kind of understand how to set up. The map gives you tons of tools to get you through the rounds. It features the most overpowered wonder weapon we've ever seen, a wide variety of broken gobblegums, and even one of the best specialist weapons we've ever seen, being the sword. Now, the number 22 place has to go to Call of the Dead. In my opinion, this is the first map on my list that actually poses somewhat of a challenge. All the maps prior were really easy. Now, the map does have plenty of room to train, but the fog and George are enough to balance out the odds and make it a little bit more difficult. Alongside this though, there's also the lack of supplies to do high rounds. The map features some of the weakest wonder weapons we've ever seen and no traps to back it up. Moving on to our number 21 place, which goes to Black Ops 4's map 9. This was the launch map for Black Ops 4 and it did their job really well. The map has one of the easiest to understand designs, being that it is perfectly symmetrical no matter where you are. The only thing that really makes the map challenging is the lack of space for movement. The only real place that there's room to train is the arena, but you have to worry about the stupid fire traps that can often kill you. Now, Die Rise is another one of those maps that is super easy, but it also has a little bit of a challenge on the side. Don't get me wrong, round 30 can be super easy with things like the AN-94 and the Slickfire that you can both get on round 1, but on the other hand, the map has tons of parkour areas that can often kill you and end your game, so it becomes a little bit more difficult. Now, the first of the survival maps to come up on this list is Town. It's a super simple map with only base features like the mystery box, pack-a-punch, and a few different perk machines scattered throughout. Don't let that fool you though, Town can be rather challenging due to its small map size. There's only really one area to train on the map, and it prevents you from even getting speed cola because you have to keep a certain door closed. Now, although it's on Black Ops 4, Blood of the Dead is a little bit more challenging of a map, which is why it takes up the number 18th place. Also, I believe Ancient Evil to be only slightly more difficult than Blood of the Dead. Zetsubo takes up the number 16th place, being one of the more challenging maps on Black Ops 3. This is due to the complex map designs with tons of tight locations and a ton of doors you have to open up to get the map set up. Now, Farm is a very similar situation to Town in that it's a bare-bones survival map, but it is considerably more difficult. Its difficulty comes that it doesn't have quite as much space as Town to get around, and it doesn't host nearly as many features like some of the perks and Pack-a-Punch machine. Without this stuff, it's just kind of harder to make it to round 30. Now, Alpha Omega comes in and takes the 14th place as one of the most difficult maps throughout all of Black Ops 4. Above it though is Grodkrovi, which is by far the most difficult map on all of Black Ops 3. The map features tons of tight locations, a wonder weapon on the weaker side of the spectrum, and tons of boss type zombies to slow you down on your way. All of that is what makes Grodkrovi a little bit more challenging than all the other Black Ops 3 Zombies maps. Now, Nuketown is yet another survival map following a very similar design to Town, but the map is considerably more difficult than the others, mostly due to the poor perk system it features. Basically, perks just spawn in at random every couple of rounds, so you can't really get Jug early game half the time. Now, Mob of the Dead can be super easy, but it also can be challenging. The map itself is super big with a super tight layout and almost no space to train except the cafeteria. But on the other hand, the afterlife system and the overpowered features in the map like the Hell's Redeemer kind of balance it out and make it considerably more bearable. Now, Derice takes the number 10 spot, and I believe this is well deserved. Now, for the sake of the video, it is important to note that I'm referring to just the World at War version of the map, and let me just tell you, it is one of the most unforgiving things you will ever experience. World at War has zombies that hug you, a wonder weapon that kills you, and not to mention quick arrive that doesn't even work when you're on solos. All of this added together in the small map layout of Derice is kind of what makes the map difficult. Now, although Shinonuma is the easiest map for high rounding, I believe the map is actually quite challenging for the early game. Now, you gotta remember, this is only based on World at War's version of Shinonuma, and I'm trying to base it off how easy it is to achieve round 30, not round 1000. The issue with transit comes in the fact that if you take it down, it is nearly impossible to get back onto your feet. Once you get down, say in farm or whatever, you have to run through the fog in order to go get Jug, and you literally can't because there's lava, denizens, and a bunch of other stuff that'll end up killing you. So in the long run, if you take a death in transit, you're most likely game over. Now, Moon is one of those maps that I would consider to be on par with transit. Don't get me wrong, Moon has tons of space to train, but it's also paired with a ton of annoying problems like the Jug system, astronaut, and the excavators. That's not even to mention the annoying gravity system that makes the zombies literally fly into your face. Now, Voyage of Despair takes number 6 while being the most difficult map throughout all of Black Ops 4. The Black Ops 4 systems make it a little bit easier with the overpowered specialist weapons, but the map is extremely tight with minimal space to move around. Also, it has one of the most lackluster wonder weapons I've ever seen. Now, the top 5. This brings us into the truly difficult zombie maps. In the top 5, I have to start us off with Nocturne on Toten, and remember, I'm referring to the World at War version of the map. The zombies hug you, you get no perks, you only get hit twice, and you're guaranteed a game over. All of this adds up in a tight little bunker that you have no space to train around and makes the map very difficult on solo. Now, being a little bit more difficult than Noct, we have Black Ops 1 Shangri-La. This map boasts some of the most annoying bosses we've ever seen, as well as a bunch of annoying traps that'll kill you around the map. Also, I think it has one of the tightest map designs we've ever seen in a zombies map. The one thing that makes it actually bearable is the fact that it has a plausible wonder weapon, unlike the maps to come. It gives you the baby gun, which is guaranteed to insta-kill if you have something like Semtex grenades or Mustang and Sally's to go with it. I would say that 5 is practically the same difficulty as Shangri-La, with the only major difference being the wonder weapons. 5 has the same tight map design as Shangri-La, but no annoying bosses to come with it. It also boasts literally the worst wonder weapon we've ever seen in zombies. Trust me, it's not even worth using this thing to get a kill on round 15. The lack of wonder weapon or way to kill zombies is the reason that this map is a little bit more difficult than Shangri-La. Now, coming in at number 2, Wrecked has had a long-standing name as one of the most difficult zombies maps ever. It once again boasts the same difficult map layout, being super tight like 5 and Shangri-La, with constant tight corridors along the way. But with the tight map design, it also has some of the most unpredictable zombie spawns we've ever seen, which makes it even harder. This is because the zombies will start spawning ahead of you and get you stuck in these tiny little tight hallways. Now, I would have to say that the most difficult zombie map award has to go to Bus Depot. It is a simple survival map that holds nothing but a mystery box and a couple different wall buys. Yes, you heard me right, the map doesn't even host perk machines or a pack-a-punch machine. Alongside the limited resources, the map is also very small with very limited space, and you only get a 2-hit down since there's no Jug on the map. All of this makes it the most difficult zombies map on all of Treyarch Zombies.